K&K Boutique is your one-stop shop for all things modest fashion for you and the little lady in your life. They also have designs that you guys can match. Check out their tops, their bottoms, their flowy dresses, all on their website, kkboutique21.com, and use our code HelloAwesome for 15% off. Treat yourself to the simple goodness of Oneness Essentials, all natural skincare, soaps, and candles. Each product is handmade and created with nourishing ingredients and genuine care. From skin-loving natural soaps and cozy candles, Oneness Essentials brings a little more comfort and kindness to your daily routine. Use code HelloAwesome for 20% off your order today at onenesssoapbiz.com. That's ONESSSOAPBIZ.com. This episode is sponsored by Ash & Stone, a holistic herbal skincare company created by a certified skincare formulator for you. Whether you struggle with dry skin, acne, or want to refresh, Ash & Stone has you covered. They have moisturizers, cleansers, facial oils, and more. Go to ashandstoneskincare.com and use our code AWESOME15 for 15% off at checkout today. Hey guys, welcome back to the Hello Awesome podcast. My name is JC and I have my friend Kelly here. You may recognize her from social media. She has some very funny videos and we're going to get into all those things. But before we do, Kelly, thank you so much for being on the podcast with me today.
Absolutely.
This has been a long time coming and I'm glad that you had the patience to work with me schedule-wise, but I'm glad we can make it happen.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me on. I am so excited. It has been a long time coming, and not all just on you. It's been on me too. Last year, 2025, was a very hard season. And I know about this time last year when we were going to do this, my father-in-law passed away, and then 2.5 weeks after that, my mom passed away. And so I just didn't feel like I could get on here and share what I'm going to share today. And so I know that this is definitely God's timing. This is a better time for me. So I'm thankful for this opportunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have to give ourselves grace in those moments where you're like, I have to go through this season right now. And it's okay to just sit and just be still for that. So, so before we begin, can you just share a little bit about who you are and what you do for all of us listening?
Yes, my name is Kelly Phillips, and I am a wife to Sean for almost 29 years. Next month will be 29 years. It doesn't seem like it's possible. I know I don't look old enough to be married that long, but here I am, married to my best friend and mom to Alex and Natalie. God gave us these two blessings, and that is a totally different podcast for another time, but God gave them to us by way of adoption. And aside from marrying my husband, it's been the best thing that has ever happened to me. My kids are my life, my blessing. And I'm so thankful for that and what God has worked out in our lives there. We pastor a small church in rural Oklahoma. We are out in the country. We're about 2 hours north of Dallas and about an hour and a half south of Oklahoma City. So we've been here a little over 2 years and we are loving it. The people are great. And so, yeah, that's a little bit about me. We're not originally from Oklahoma. We are transplants from Oregon. And but Oklahoma is our home. We've been here, I think we're 26 years now. So Oklahoma is our home. So
I love that. I am so far from Oklahoma. I'm in Connecticut.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
So just the word is so foreign to me, but I would love to visit someday. I heard it's beautiful over there. I heard just being outside in nature and seeing everything is just gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. Oklahoma has a lot of different landscape. I mean, it's flat in some areas, and they have mountains, which aren't really mountains to me because I come from Oregon, where there are mountains.
Yeah.
But then on the east side of the state, it's so green. It's a diverse state, and we just love being here. Yeah.
Well, many followers, many listeners probably recognize you just from your face on social media. They probably recognize the glasses. Um, but you create very funny, relatable content. That's the bulk of what you do, and it's something that I love. It's something that I resonate with as well. As much as I share some pretty like serious things, I also will
Sure.
toss in something like silly because it's just part of my personality. And so that part of my personality just like clicks when I see your content, and it just gets me laughing. And so I want to talk about that. I want to talk about how did that all start? Like, how did you start posting funny things? Take us back to that beginning post of why you did it, or how that came about.
Yeah. So I have had Instagram since 2013, but like so many of us do, it was just there, and I was still mostly just on Facebook, keeping up with family. And my sister said, "Hey, Kel, all the cool people are moving over to Instagram, so you might want to catch up with the times." And I was like, "Well, okay, I have Instagram, but I don't know how to use it." And so I eventually did, and I just started following accounts. And most of the accounts that I followed were just decorating accounts, just like redoing your house and all this kind of stuff. And of course, like you do, I got sucked into some reels, and just some popped up, funny mom relatable things. And I really liked those. And so I started following different ones, Kristen Com being one of them. And I just love her. By the way, we get mistaken for each other all the time. Or are you guys related? Are you sisters? I just love her. But so like her, and just different people doing all these funny reels. And I thought, you know what? I'm kind of funny. I feel like I could do this. I could give this a shot. And during the pandemic, when we were all bored sitting at home, chalking on our driveways for our kids, I decided that I would kind of start getting into it. And I think my first reel that I posted was in October of 2021. So we were getting through the pandemic, but I posted one of me and my kids, and I was beating on a pot, telling them to leave me alone. And I still remember that.
I remember that one.
Yeah, that was the very first one I posted. And so they were in it, and they were good sports, and they've been good sports ever since. And so, yeah, that's kind of how I got started. And then I just have gone on from there. And it's been really a fun journey. When my very first reel went viral, I freaked out and I couldn't believe it. And I was like, how has 1 million people seen my face? This is like so unbelievable. Like, why would they even want to see my face? And then you get scared, and you're like, 1 million people have seen my face. This is kind of scary. But then I just kept doing it, and here I am. I think 5 years I've been posting, mom relatable, real life relatable things. And I enjoy doing it. It's fun, and I like to make people laugh. And so that's kind of the why behind why I'm doing it, where I started with that.
I mean, you definitely make me laugh. And some of the things that you post, I go, I wouldn't have thought about that, but it's so good. It's so good. And yeah, I actually can see why that would be such an appealing thing with the pandemic. And it was just so serious, so unpredictable. We didn't know what was happening. We had a lot of confusion. And I really do think that that's when a lot of comedy started, like to get more popular, especially online, because some clean comedians I know, that's when a lot of their podcasts started, because they couldn't go out on the road anymore. So then they just started a podcast, because you have to have that funny bone. Like, you have to keep like working on that. But why do you think people gravitate to what you post? Do you think that we are just craving more humor?
I ask myself that quite often. Why are people here? Why are people on my page? But I really think that people just crave relatable authenticity, just like somebody that's like me, somebody that's like you, that just has real life stuff. There's so many things out there, so many pages that are just like ridiculous, and they're just unattainable, and people live lavish lifestyles or whatever. And you're just like that, that's not for me. And yeah, maybe some of us follow some of those people, but I really think, life is hard, and raising kids is hard, and it's of course it's rewarding, but it brings a lot of tears. So no, why not make the best of it? Why not have fun doing it? Relationships and all of these things can be so messy, but just jabbing a little fun at it, and having fun with it, I think is something that people like. I think some people crave humor. I don't know if I do. I love to be around people that are funny. There's just something that draws you to people that are funny. I read an article that said being funny is possibly one of the best things that you can do for your health. It's like, they say it's like the immune system for your mind. And I thought, wow, that's really incredible. And with so many people right now in this day and age, really just being diagnosed with like depression and anxiety, man, we need this. We need to laugh. We need joy. And if, the Bible says that laughter or a merry heart doeth good like a medicine. I mean, we need to laugh. It's good for us. And so, I know I crave humor. I think a lot of people do. A lot of people want, joy in their life. I even read that frequent laughter can add years to your life. So what are we doing? Let's laugh, right? Let's add some years to our life. Let's live longer. And so, yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I think people do crave humor. I know that humor, is not for everyone, and I know there's a time and place for it. But I do think that people do want more joy in their life. At least I hope they do.
Well, I know I do. I know I need it. And it just reminds me of like when you're a kid, it's that childlike faith. It's just like everything was funny, everything was silly. You would get in trouble in school because you'd be laughing with your friend.
Exactly.
And you weren't trying to be bad. You weren't trying to be a bad kid, but you would get in trouble because you were laughing or being silly, like at the serious times or the wrong time, according to adults. And I just remember that was always my childhood. So
yeah.
I'm curious if that was yours too, because I was always doing something silly or trying to make people laugh, or like I knew that I probably shouldn't, but if I was going to get a laugh, I was going to try and get that laugh.
When I was growing up, when I was younger, I was not as outgoing as I am now. So I've always liked to have fun, of course, but I was a little more shy and a little more serious back in the day when I was younger. And so I wasn't a goof off in class. Now, if I was in school now, I would probably be in trouble all the time for goofing off. But I'm glad that has developed in my life. I used to tell my mom, in my adult life, I think I can do stand-up comedy. And she'd be like, really? Really, Kelly? And I'd be like, yeah, I think it would be fun. And then I realized it really wasn't as funny as I thought it was. And so I didn't pursue that. I'll just leave that up to Chonda Pierce or something like that. But yeah, so I have gotten a lot bolder as I've grown up, and I just put myself out there and I'm like, hey, let's just do this. What do we got to lose? It's fun. It's all in good fun. So
it really is. And I love what you said about, about what you learned about like humor, like just elongates our life. And we had our Connecticut Ladies Conference this past weekend. And one night, you go out to eat after service. It's like 10, 11 o'clock at night. You're so tired. You don't even know why you're at a restaurant. It's so late for you.
Yeah.
But across from me was a good friend of ours, his grandmother. She's 91 years old.
Oh, wow.
Still serving the Lord. And she is the funniest person I've ever met on the planet. Really? And she still has her quick wit. She still is so just fast with the funnies and sillies, and just how she says things. She was getting the wait staff going. She was getting the table going. And I remember thinking, like, what a gift that I'm
Yeah.
witnessing. She's going to be 92 in a couple months. And
Wow.
she has found such joy in the Lord, such humor in God, of just living for God. Um, and I do believe that has contributed to her health and being able to bless us now with her brain. She's hilarious. Um, and it makes me think of those moments when I probably had um, older people, elders who were maybe like kind of too serious. And as a kid, like that can be really scary and intimidating. And um, I think there has to be a balance, obviously. I think
Oh, yeah.
sometimes when we're Christians, we're like, everything has to be so serious. You're not a serious Christian if you're laughing. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
okay, but I don't
Mm,
think there's Bible for that.
mm-mm. No, I don't think so. No,
Yeah.
I love that. I hope that when I'm 90, Lord willing, that I still have a sense of humor and have so much fun. That's one thing that I loved about my father-in-law. He was one of the funniest people I have ever known. And as a matter of fact, we tease in this family that I should have been his daughter because we literally would finish each other's sentences. And he was the kind of guy that would go to um, be at a restaurant and be at the table, and the waitress would come and he would order diet water. And then he would tell her when she would give the check that he wasn't staying for the drawing, just those kind of things. And I hope I don't cry about this, but now I try to use that humor just when I go to a restaurant. I say I'm not staying for the drawing, just something kind of funny. And I love that about him. We were always cutting up and laughing. And I hope that at 90, I'm still doing that because I don't know. It's so much fun, and it makes life fun.
It does. It does. And
Yeah.
those are sweet memories. Like you said, life
Hmm.
is so hard. Life can be so heavy. Raising
Hmm.
kids can be challenging. It's fun. Yes, it's rewarding. But there's nothing better than, I know, like when we're having like a tension in our family,
Oh, yeah.
just from life or homeschooling. We talked about homeschooling before we start
Hmm.
recording. Lord
Yeah.
help us. Um, it's such a beautiful thing, but it's challenging. And then
Hmm.
to be able to have a moment of just like levity and fun and silliness, and it could be just dumb humor, and you guys are just laughing and stitches together. You feel such lightness. You just feel lighter. And I do think that that's a gift from the Lord. I do.
Absolutely. And I know, like for me, it's a coping mechanism, and humor often is with people.
Yeah.
And I know when my mom was in the hospital right before she passed, I was devastated, and I was not happy. But still, in that moment, I remember teasing her about wanting her fan on and moving it closer to her, and I was just trying to lighten the mood. And she kind of looked at my sister and said, "Why is she laughing?" And, she wasn't in the right frame of mind, but I thought, well, if she was, she would know, Mom, this is me. This is just how I'm coping with things, is trying to make the mood lighter. And so it's a coping mechanism. And sometimes, I know that humor isn't always it, right for some moments, and it's got its place. But for some people, it is a coping mechanism. And for me, I know that when I'm stressed out or when I'm sad or whatever, I try to, lighten the mood and make light of things. That's just who I am.
Oh
So
yeah. Same. I,
yeah,
I probably do it too much. Where I
yeah,
get
me
I
too
get side
sometimes.
eye from my family, like.
Yeah, like yeah, stop doing that. Yeah, me too.
But what has been the most surprising thing about showing up online and doing the type of content that you do?
I'm going to say the most surprising thing has been the community and connection with people. There's a lot of people out there that are socially awkward or shy that would never talk to you, but you get them behind a keyboard and they are just going to pour out their heart. They're going to talk to you. You're going to make friends that you wouldn't otherwise have a chance to meet. I mean, look at us. We met on social media, and we got to meet in person at, I think, General Conference several years ago. And it's just because we recognized each other, and doing that online has opened the door for me to teach Bible studies. It's wild. I've had, people text me questions about our faith. sharing scriptures, sharing. And I'm like, this is wild. This is so crazy. Actually, I met a lady. She started following me on Instagram, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and realized where I went to church, and they had moved here from California. And she said, "Hey, we're not very far from where you're at. Do you mind if we come visit your church?" And I was like, "Absolutely, come visit our church." And they came, and their family, and we've been friends ever since. As a matter of fact, they just drove down to our church this last Sunday and had church with us. And that was wild to me. She goes, I borderline thought you would think I was stalking you and that it was weird. And I'm like, but no, look at us now. We're like friends. And this is something that would have not happened had there not been a connection on social media. And so just having this community that shows up for you, you can immediately have thousands of people praying for your situation, and that was huge. I got so much support when my mom and my father-in-law were in the hospital when they were sick. And then when they passed, people that don't even know me that just reached out to me. And when I was having hard days, said, "You're such an encouragement to us, and we want to be an encouragement to you." And that, you hear a lot of people on their platform say, "I love my community. I love these people." And it's so true how they show up for you and message you. You have this certain amount. I think I have 36,000 followers, and I have this group of, I don't know, 20, 50 people that are just always in my messages, in my comments. They're just like, it's like we know each other. It's like we're friends. And they're just always the ones that are like, "Hey, how are you doing today? Hey, can you share that link again?" And that has really been the most surprising thing. And I tell people, and I don't feel embarrassed, but it almost sounds weird to say, I miss my people online. Like, I miss my friends. And they're like, "Those are not your friends," and I'm like, "But they're my community. They're my people," and if you don't show up, they're wondering, "Are you okay? Is everything okay with you?" And so I think that has been the most surprising thing to me. I love when they get on and they say, "Hey, keep doing what you're doing. I needed that today." And that is such an encouragement to me. It makes me know that what I'm doing is making a difference. And I love it. I just love the community here on Instagram, basically on Instagram, I guess on social media. But yeah, I love it.
I agree. It was the biggest thing for me too. I mean, you kind of think like you're going to get, more pushback than you do, and there'll be that too.
Sure.
But I don't know. Same with my experience. It's been more positive than negative. I mean, the fact that you had someone and their family come to church with you, that you have doors open to teach like Bible studies, like those are amazing things. And I always tell people, like, if we pulled all of our like positive apostolic, preaching off of social media, if we're so against it, well, people are going to still be on there. And so we're allowing the enemy, we're allowing the other voices to have a say rather than us trying to put light out there. And I think that, the Lord is going to use it for his good no matter what, as long as we, make sure that we're aligned with him. And I know I always, I sometimes still struggle. I'm a little bit better now, but I do have moments where I kind of struggle with posting online. I have to take a break. And so I was wondering about you, if those moments where you have struggled with posting online, like, do you kind of recognize that now? Like, oh, I need a break, maybe?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, for sure. 100%. As a matter of fact, I did not even show my face yesterday. And I do usually, sometimes on Sundays I don't, because I just try to take a day. But some days I'm just like, I'm not feeling it. I don't have, it's not that I always have something to say. But, there's just days that you just don't feel it. You just don't want to show up. You just need space. You just need, to do nothing. and so, but I think every time I get on, I think about what I'm going to post, what I'm going to share. I want to be an example. I want to, we have to have a thick skin being on social media, like you said, because there are people that are going to find something bad or be unintentionally offended about something that you post. They're not going to like it or whatever. And that's going to happen. But, I always try to remember the why behind my social media presence. I don't have to be here, and I know that it is taboo to some. It's evil. It's addictive. It's distracting. And it can be all of those things. But my platform is my opportunity to share Christ and to make people laugh and to share relatable things and be a Christian while doing it. So while there are days that I do not want to show up, and I think that's healthy. I think we should take breaks because if that's all we're doing, there's other things that require our attention, and we can't be here every day, and we're certainly not always in a good mood. And on those days when I'm just not, my joyful, jovial self, I try to sometimes stay away on those days just because I don't want to fake, not that I'm not joyful, not that I don't have joy, but I don't want to make people laugh on those days. And I think that's everybody. There's just some days we can't do it. So yeah, I definitely, I had a hard time when I started posting, and there are still a lot of days that I still have to really think about what I'm posting, or I video something and then I'm like, I'm not posting that, or I can't do that today. I don't feel like it. It's my goal a lot of times is to post a funny reel every day, but there are a lot of days that I just don't. I can't, and that's okay. I think that that's all right. But I definitely want, when I show up, that I want Christ to show through me, because there's so much junk out there, and we need more wholesome, Christ-centered content. And that's what I want to be when I show up online on social media. So,
yeah, I agree. Well said. I think that we have to really take inventory of how we feel and make sure that we're not projecting that if it's something that's not positive. And also just think about our own health, our own mental health, spiritual health, physical health. Some days I'm like, I just need a minute. I just need to put my phone on silent and not look at anything. Or I just need to veg and not worry about posting. And I think that looks different for everybody, but we have to be aware. We can't be ignorant that it's not going to affect us. It is going to affect us. But I think it's just like everything. It's a tool, and it's easy for us to use it for good or not. And so we have to be good stewards of that tool. And going back to what we talked about, because I have found it challenging for some church people to let go and laugh. I remember one of my recent viral humorous videos was, I don't watch scary movies, but I do work at the church by myself, and it's just me walking by the church, and it's kind of looking, and it's dark, and because sometimes, you got that dark wood and the low lights, and you're working by yourself. And I remember I had somebody talk about oh, we shouldn't have that attitude about the church. And I was like, I don't, it's just funny. But I think that sometimes feathers get ruffled if we see somebody having a good time or not feeling heavy 24/7 all the time, or how can you laugh at a time like this? And it's how can you not laugh at a time like this? Life is crazy. The world is insane. News is wild. We can't, there's so many things we cannot control. Right. But we can help people maybe get through it. And part of that could be laughing. And so I wanted to know about your experience with this. If you have felt some kind of pushback, or sometimes you feel that this attitude sometimes in church culture of no, we're serious Christians, so we don't laugh.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. There's lots of times I thought, man, they need to lighten up or why are they so serious all the time? And like I said before, I know not everything is a laughing matter. Ministry is serious business. I get that. But if we don't have fun doing it, we can get burnt out. And even just as Christians, we have to make time out of the four walls of the church, even because I know in a church setting, it doesn't lend itself necessarily to laughter. Now it does to joy. So I think that's why connection outside of the four walls with church people is so important, to get together and to play games or to do just whatever you enjoy together, and to find joy in doing those things. That connection is so important. And right here, just to clarify, if nobody hears any other thing that I say, I know we were talking a lot about humor, but humor and joy are not the same. They are not the same thing. And some people in the church need way more than humor. They need absolute joy in their life. And like you said, I feel like Christianity has such a serious connotation about it. Like it's such a holy reverence that doesn't allow for joy, or whatever. But Jesus said in John 15:11, these things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you and that your joy might be full. Okay, so humor is designed to be comical. It's amusing. It's really just superficial. But joy is a deep-seated emotion that stems from inner fulfillment. And I think it's important to note that joy is one of the fruits of the Spirit. And so even if there's no humor in your life, if as a Christian, I get it, if you're just not a funny person, you still need to have joy. You should still find joy every day in something. The joy of the Bible says the joy of the Lord is our strength. And sadly, we can look back, and this is kind of just an example that came to me, as so many, and I would call them secular comedians that had humor. And it's obvious they had no joy in their life, because sadly, there's so many that took their lives. And I did not even realize until I Googled it. Because, I know of one in particular I was thinking of, and then I Googled it and I was like, wow, this is such a sad thing that these people that made their life about making other people laugh and finding comedy and things did not have joy in their life. And they snuffed out their own life. And I thought, man, this is so sad. So more than humor, we have to have joy as Christians. It is so important. So yeah, I would say we need to let loose, and we need to have fun, and we need to cut up, and we need to laugh. But more importantly, we have to have true joy in our lives. It's so important. It's just so important to have joy. And I know there are hard times. We go through seasons where it's hard to find joy. Sometimes you have to dig it out. Sometimes you have to be intentional about finding something in your day that brings you joy. And that's been true for me. I mean, 2025 was not a joyful year for me. It was hard. There was days that I just, I did nothing but cry, and I felt really worried about myself, and I had to push through. But thank God for the joy of the Lord that is my strength. And if all I had was humor, I would have been in a world of hurt. If all I was doing is just laughing and cutting up and not truly have that deep-seated emotion of joy in my life. I am so thankful for that. I'm so thankful for the joy of the Lord. It's so important.
Thanks for clarifying the difference.
Yes.
I think that's such an important distinction, because you're right. There's a difference between humor and cutting up and laughing and being silly.
Yeah.
But then also true joy that comes from the Lord. There's a peace about it.
Yes.
And there's just, it's not anything that you created on your own. It's something that sustains you. Whereas humor and laughing, comedy are all great things. But you're right. There have been great comedians who have been legendary, and they were miserable in their lives. They did not have true joy. And I have worked with some comedians, which has been just crazy. Social media opens doors to some really wild opportunities if you allow it to.
Yeah.
But clean comedians, and I've heard them talk about how there's a joke that they like to say that they are not as fun off the stage, that they're fun on stage but not fun off stage. And I thought, wow, that's kind of sad. This has allowed you to maybe share a part of your identity, and you have been part of so many people's lives, sharing humor, bringing comedy to the world. making helping a nation when we've been at war or we've been fighting,
Yeah.
whether inside of our borders or outside. There's so many things going on that, you know, comedy thrives because we're looking for something
Yeah.
or a break.
Sure.
Even with sports now, people used to turn to sports, but now if sports has turned political, well, we can't really turn to sports anymore because that kind of is like, you know, you guys have made it like a thing. So
Right.
comedy can be political too, but you can always find a comedian that, you know, kind of speaks to you. And
Sure.
it's been pretty cool to see the clean comics, the ones that are not vulgar, the ones that
Oh,
are
I know.
not nasty, that just talk about the human experience. And I think that's what we want. We want to
Oh,
laugh
absolutely.
about the human experience because it's hard enough to be a human down here. and
Absolutely.
and I just remember thinking, like, as much as they help us, if they don't have God, and the ones that do, you can tell, they
Absolutely.
have joy
Yes.
off the stage. And I've had
Hmm.
conversations with them, and it's encouraging to me that I make sure that, like you said, like we're not just posting funny things and then also like turn the camera off and be like miserable in our
Right.
in our regular lives every day. Like we need
Sure.
to have the joy of the Lord, and like you said, like that's part of the fruit of the Spirit. That's part of God's gift to us is His joy. And that's something that we should try and strive for is the joy of the Lord. And when we have the joy of the Lord, then when we bring humor, when we bring comedy, it comes from more of a lighter place and
Absolutely.
a place of, I think, fulfillment, uh, you know, rather than being fake.
Oh yeah, I have felt convicted. I felt convicted several times. I'm over here yelling at my kids. You know, I'm fixing to make a reel or whatever, and they're being wild and crazy. And I'm like, would y'all just be quiet? And you know, we're fussing and fighting. And then I'm going to get on here and I'm going to try to be funny. And I'm like, no, I can't even do that. Like, you know,
Yes.
you can't be fussing with your family and get on here and try to make it look like everything's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, I definitely feel that for sure.
Well, we know that, like we said, life is just heavy, and there's probably somebody out there right now who's struggling to find joy and struggling to laugh, and they're probably listening to this conversation like, "Oh man, I've been missing that, and I'm really having a hard time
Yeah.
finding joy. I'm having a hard time laughing." I know that there's been times in my life where everybody is laughing or having fun in a room, and I'm just not feeling it. I just do not
Hmm.
feel like being a part of that, and I
Yeah.
knew that it was something that I needed to pray about. But how would you encourage this person if they're struggling to find that joy?
I would just encourage someone to build meaningful connections, strong relationship, get you a bestie, get you a friend, somebody that you can connect up with, that you can link with, and kick negativity to the curb. I know it's not always easy, but find someone that you can shop with, that you can eat dinner with, that you can hike with, whatever it is. Find a hobby that you enjoy doing. You know, if you craft or journal or exercise, read, needlepoint, podcast, whatever it is that you love to do, do that. Do that. Find joy in doing those things. Whatever it is that takes you to your happy place, I would say do that. Also, the number one thing on that list, I would say read your Bible, because reading your Bible is going to bring joy. Jeremiah said, "Thy words were found and I did eat them, and they were my joy." God's word is so encouraging. And I know sometimes maybe you're just like, I don't, you know, what is that going to do for me? You know, I don't want to open my Bible right now. I don't feel like it. Do it anyway. Do it anyway, because something in there is going to encourage you. If you need a good laugh, read the Message Bible. Oh my goodness, it's hilarious. I hear that Jonah is really a great book to read. And I think Tim Hawkins even said that somewhere, if you look in there, you can find a Twinkie recipe or something like that. I know he's just being funny, but there are some times I've actually done that. I have listened to my Bible in another, in the Message or something, and I just find myself giggling like, oh, this is what I needed to hear today. This is so funny. This is so good. But lastly, I would also say self-care. Take care of you. Prioritize yourself. Prioritize you. We've all heard the saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. It's important for us to get enough sleep, to eat better, to be active, but also to allow yourself to relax. And this is one that I have a hard time with. I feel guilty when I sit down, like I should be doing something all the time, that I need to stay busy, that, I've got so much to do. But you know what? We shouldn't feel guilty. There are times it's okay to be still. We need to be still and listen for that still small voice. And if we're so busy all the time doing all the things, we can't hear it. And I think all of these things together can bring joy. It can create moments of joy for yourself. Light a candle, take a bath. I don't know, turn on your favorite worship music, or if you love to jam to Forrest Frank, do it. These are things that, find time in your day and do what makes you happy, because, we only get one chance at this life. And we need to find things that bring us joy every day. Just create those moments. Sometimes it takes a lot of work to do that. Sometimes we have to push ourselves to do that, but it's important, and you are important. And I know I have felt, since moving, this is a kind of a vulnerable moment for me, but since moving, we left a church that, we had close to 100 people, and we left a church where, we run 30, 35 on a good day. And that's been something that the enemy has tried to tell me is, look, there's nobody around you. You don't have anybody. One of my best friends moved to Texas, and she's so far away now. And I do have another really good friend that I get together with all the time, but the devil has told me, you don't have anybody. You're out here all alone. And sometimes I have felt sorry for myself, and I thought, I feel so lonely, because sometimes ministry is a lonely place. And then I think, you know what? That's not true. That is not true. I have church people, I have friends, I have people on Instagram that I can reach out to. So never feel like you're alone. There is always somebody. Reach out to somebody. If you're feeling lonely, if you need some joy, reach out to somebody. I'm always here. I will be here, and I will encourage you. I will try to make you laugh. But just try to create those moments of joy in your life every day. I think it's so important to do this. It's just so important.
Agreed. And thank you for sharing that. So many good things. We have to step out of ourselves. And I know that's hard. But if you have that one person, just have one good friend.
Yes.
I always pray for my kids, Lord, just send them that one good friend.
Yes.
That one good friend that's going to help them through hard times, that they can talk with and laugh with. And I'm very blessed that they both have friends like that. In particular, we have a group of friends that actually go to the same church as us, and they can razz each other and nobody gets offended. And I'm like, if you can have a friend that you can like razz in a lighthearted way, not in a mean spirited way, and nobody takes offense to that, forget it. Like, that's great.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need those people that are kind of take you out of that serious mentality that sometimes we can kind of latch onto.
Oh, those are the best. Those are the best friendships. The ones where you can just be you. There's nothing better than being with a friend that you can just laugh until you're wheezing, until you're falling on the floor. I love those relationships. And if you have just one of those people in your life, it's so meaningful. And those are my absolute favorite times. I love to get together with girlfriends and just like cut up and laugh and have fun. And yeah, definitely I pray that for my kids also, because they don't have that right now. And I know that's coming, and we keep doing, my son has a really good friend from the church that we came from. And we always pray, God, send him a Nolan, to where we live. Just send him a Nolan. It's just somebody that will help him, encourage him. And so I'm always telling my kids that, and they get sad sometimes because my daughter still goes to public school, and she's finding her friends, and I'm like, God, please just send her friends in the church, friends that are like-minded. And it's so important, because I want that for my children too, for them to be able to grow up and have that one person that they can just be themselves with, because it's so, so important.
Yeah, it is. It is, because we're going to have different seasons of life that are going to be lonely. Like you said, ministry is it is lonely. It really is, no matter where you are, whether you're an evangelist or a church planner, or you're just helping a local church, like our family, we help a local church, and we love it. We love our family. We're very grateful for a close knit district as well.
Yeah.
But it's the day-to-day time that you're like, woof. You forget sometimes. I know for me, I'm an introvert. I've talked about this in past episodes. You guys probably heard, but sometimes I don't realize that I need people until it's like, oh, like it's a little like much. I push myself away because I have hobbies that are very like internal or something that's
Yeah.
only like for me. I don't, it's not a group project. Okay.
Hmm.
Most of my hobbies
Yeah.
are not group projects. But that's how I coped as I was a kid. And so, that's how I cope now. And I can be content until I'm not. And then you
Right.
forget you need a good friend to just laugh, to just joke. And that's why I encourage people to say yes to ladies' conference. Say yes to going out,
Absolutely.
if a district has an event, even if you're like, I don't know if I want to go people for a little bit,
Absolutely.
go laugh, and just be around like-minded individuals. It's so, so important.
It is so important. And we try to do that. My husband is very much an advocate for being involved in the district and any type of sectional thing that we have going on. Every rally, every marriage retreat, every conference, we're there. And it is so important because how else are you going to build those connections with people of
Yeah.
like-minded faith if you're staying home all the time? And I know sometimes it's hard to people. I have those days, and the older I get, I have more of them. I don't know if you've ever done the color personality test. We used to do like sanguine, melancholy, that test where you would, your personality. And now they do a color test, and I'm an orange, which is a sanguine. So I'm really outgoing, but I've noticed that older I'm getting, I am a little less of that. I don't mind quiet days at home. Like before, I was always like, let's have a game night. Who can we call and get together with? And, let's do something. Let's have a bonfire. But the older I get, I'm slowing down a little bit, and I'm enjoying just quiet moments and quiet times. But I do think it's so important to get out, like I said earlier, of the four walls of your church and enjoy times that aren't so, I don't want to say the word spiritual, but a lot of camps and conferences, those don't lend themselves to, having just a lot of fun. But there are other retreats and conferences that are lower key, where you're just having a time of just a lot of fellowship. And those times are so, so important. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, Kelly, thank you so much for being on the podcast, for sharing your
Yes.
heart, for encouraging us in the joy of the Lord. I'm so grateful for you. I'm glad we got to hug in real life.
Yes.
I think we met at General Conference, and then we saw each other again at NAYC in
Yes.
2025. And it was
Yes.
funny because you were in the lobby of Calvary Tabernacle,
Mm-hmm.
and I have in-laws, my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law minister there, and I have my nieces are part of IBC. So we were getting like this family tour, and a big group of us came in. I go, Kelly,
Yeah.
what's
That was
up?
such
How you doing?
yeah.
And that's what I love about the family of God. I love that.
Yes.
I love that our community online, that we probably will see each other again because we're in like-minded circles, and
Yes.
that's just a really a cool benefit to being online and just finding your people.
Yes, absolutely. And I am so thankful that I've had this opportunity. I just love you. I read your books and I support you. Everything that you do here at Hello Awesome Live, it's just so good. So I just want to put a plug in for Sister JC and this podcast. If you're looking for a I love a good podcast. I love it. So I'm just thankful for you, Sister JC, and all that you do. Keep doing
Thank
it.
you. I appreciate that. I hope that you have the best day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let people know how they can find you on social media. Where can they connect with you online?
I am Kelly Okie, Okiee, and I think there's an underscore, Kelly underscore Okie.
Yeah.
Find me on Instagram, Kelly Phillips on Facebook. Follow me if you want a good laugh, or don't. It's just up to you. But hope to see you on social media.
Warning, you will laugh. So get ready.